Hello, my name is Freddy Hines. Welcome to the How to Play video for Theomachy, the Warrior Gods. In this game, players take on the roles of gods, betting their worshippers through a series of poker-like battles. When one or more players has lost all of their worshippers, they are out of the game. To win, you must be the last god standing. Alternatively, you can play a game without player elimination. In a game without player elimination, player gain victory points each time they win a hand. When the player would be eliminated, the players that eliminated that player gain 3 victory points. That's a lot of elimination. That player then draws a new congregation. The first player to reach 10 victory points wins. Players will start with a small deck of 8 cards to begin their game. There are 2 ways to build your starting decks when playing Theomachy. In the prayer deck, there will be a Roman numeral 1, 2, 3, or 4. There are 8 cards within each number, and they form 4 well-rounded 8-card decks that can be handed to the 4 players. The other method is to draft your decks. If you decide to draft your decks, you must each choose your pantheon before drafting. Once the draft is complete, choose your god from that pantheon. To draft your decks, each player takes 5 cards from the top of the prayer deck, chooses 1, and then passes the remaining 4 to the neighbor in a clockwise fashion. Repeat this until you are left with 2 cards to choose from. Choose 1, and discard the last 1. Do this 2 more times, alternating your direction from clockwise to counterclockwise, and then back to clockwise. At the end of this, each player will have 12 cards. Each player then removes 4 to create an 8-card deck for their game. You may then choose a god from your pantheon you had previously chosen. God cards and miracles are special ways that your pantheon encourages you to play the game differently. For example, Thor allows you to start with the Mjolnir myth card, furthermore performing certain tasks. In this case, playing air attacks allow you to gain miracle tokens that can be used as currency to buy more myth cards. Myth cards for your pantheon are to be placed in a face-down pile with only the top card face up, so that you know what you're buying. Certain myth cards are also called heroes. These heroes may be added to your stake to drastically change the battle. During a round, we'll be turning over cards from the Constellation deck, similarly to Texas Hold'em's Reaver, Turn, and Flop. These elements will allow you to fuel prayer cards. Players will be betting as cards are revealed. First, you reveal 3 cards, and each player will then ante their worshippers. From there, you'll bet just like in a poker game around the table. Unlike poker, however, you may only raise by a single chip. During the betting phases, you may play any card except attack cards. You may play any number that they can fuel during any of the betting phases. Once all players have passed, folded, or have been called, you reveal the 4th card and bet again. Here is how you bet. Worshippers are like life points. You must bid them to stay in the battle, but you lose them if you lose the battle. And why would you do a thing like that when your pawns, they're right there in front of you? And excuse me. So, the winner does not get the loser's tokens. The winner will only retain their own worshippers that they have placed into their stake. When someone raises you, you must match their raise or fold. If you lack the tokens, you must turn in 1 prophet for 2 priests, or 1 priest for 2 initiates. But on one quick note, you must perform these trades the moment you run out of a particular worshipper. If you still cannot bet the necessary worshippers but would like to stay in, you can use your last stand card as a way of signifying that you are all in. You may actually use your last stand at any time during gameplay. However, if you do, and you still lose, you will lose everything, and are out of the game. After betting is over for the 5th card, players will enter the battle phase. Once the battle phase starts, only players who remained in the betting phase, i.e. those who didn't fold, may play attack cards that change the face of the table. or in this case, that will change the fate of the table. A battle is determined by the amount of might at the end. Initiate, priests, and prophets all add to that might for the denomination that they show. Adding prayer cards may vastly increase your might or decrease your opponent's might. You may only play attack cards from a single element during your turn, but there is no limit to other cards. Cards that have two elements can be treated as either element. It should be noted you can always play power cards, but you may only affect cards during the battle phase if they specify that you may play them during the battle phase. Location cards may not be played during the battle phase. Here is what the prayer cards can do for you. There are some that simply add elements and orbs to your hand. This is useful for when the constellation doesn't have what you need. Attack and effect cards function similarly to Magic the Gathering. They have a cost at the top and will alter the battle or muck with other things just before or after the battle. In order to fuel the card, Chain Lightning for instance, you would need at least 2 air, or purple, cards and a total of 6 black orbs. Those black orbs may be separate from the air cards that you're using. For instance, you may get black orbs from, say, fire cards or earth cards. As long as there are still 2 air purple cards out there, you can fuel Chain Lightning. There are also cards called locations. When these are deployed, you may place the requisite worshipper on the card. This card does not go away at the end of the round, but continues to benefit you until it is destroyed, generally by losing hands. But you're a god, so you better not lose to these hands, for your hands are the mightiest of them all. Here's an example turn sequence as displayed on the hint card. Number 1! Start phase. You must get a new constellation ready by displaying 3 cards face up and 2 face down. Everyone antes 1 initiate and draws 5 cards. The ante will go up each time you recycle the constellation deck to a max of 3 initiates. Number 2! Myth phase. Here you may purchase a myth card or turn your top myth card to the bottom of your myth deck and display the next myth card. Number 3! Betting phase. During this phase, players may play prayer cards, but not attack cards, and bet. You may play any number of element cards that allow you to use a prayer card, or use the constellation in its current state to fuel these cards. When betting, you may raise, pass, call, or fold. But only cowards fold, so don't do it! Repeat this phase until the entire constellation is revealed. Number 4! Preparation phase. This is a special phase that is generally spoken of in the cards. It is a phase just between betting and battling. Number 5! The battle phase. My favorite. Players in this phase may play attacks, increasing their might or decreasing their opponent's might. The winner of the battle will retrieve their worshippers back to their congregation from their stake and also earn a priest. They may also earn a prophet if they have none. Then they must discard all cards from their hand. The winner for the last battle becomes the first player. Losers must remove all worshippers from their stake and place them back in the bank, or I call it hell myself personally, and discard their hand as well. They must also damage their locations by rotating them 90 degrees. If a location is already rotated and must be damaged again, instead discard that location and remove the worshipper to the bank. Number 6! Prayer phase. Each player must buy a card from the prayer deck. Take 6 cards from the prayer deck and place them in a row so all players can see them. Place a priest on the 2 cards closest to the deck, and 2 initiates on the next 2 cards. These are to represent the cost of the cards to add them to your discard pile. The 2 cards at the end are free, as is a blind pull from the prayer deck. If a priest card is purchased, immediately replace it with a new card. After all players have bought 1 card, remove the remaining free cards from the game. Shift the cards down and add new cards to the row so that there are 6 cards. This means each card will get progressively cheaper. You should set up the prayer deck prior to starting a round. And that's how you play Theomachy. These are mostly basic rules, and there is a lot of benefit to having the game before you and looking at all the options on the cards. Because there is a lot. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment on the video. And happy gaming! I hope you enjoy crushing your enemies as much as I do. Ha 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 ha!